Hi guys, my name is Bertie Levesque. Has it ever happened to you? You come back from a shooting session, you look at your photos and you're disappointed with what you see. Not very good. You have good equipment. In my case, I have a Nikon D7000, a Sigma lens, a telephoto lens 150 by 500. And you think your camera settings are okay. But don't worry, it happens to all of us at times. How about we take this photo, do a bit of editing, and suddenly get to this one. It's the same photo, believe me, it's the absolute same photo. You started from this one, and after a bit of editing, you end up with that one, which is actually pretty good. The thing is that your camera sensor contains a lot of information that is hidden in the first photo. And all we need to do is dig for the gold nugget that is hidden under this pile of pixels. Today I will show you some editing tricks to recover from some ordinary photos to make them come out pretty nice actually. So for some of you guys that are starters in photography, you will really realize the importance of photo editing. Okay, let's start about the equipment I used for this photo and the challenges that I had to start with. I do bird and surfer photography, where the subject is pretty far. The advantage of the D7000 is that it's a crop sensor. It's called an APS-C or a CMOS. So it has a crop factor of 1.5. This means that when I use the telephoto lens extended at the most at 500 millimeter focal length, the focal length increases by a factor of 1.5. So providing me with a lens equivalent to 750 millimeter. So this is quite an asset. So actually, this fully extended Nikon 7000 Sigma 150 to 500 fully extended gives me 500 millimeter focal length, but with the crop factor of 1.5 because it's a crop sensor gives me 750 millimeter. So that's you can go and pick up you know, the subject very, very far, but it doesn't mean that you're going to make a good photo, because at the same time you suffer from a lack of light, and when you reach out that far. So this is what happened here actually. So here is a surf photo taken from very far with the sky overcast. Natural light was not ideal. So what do we do? Well, with sport photography, you want to be in shutter mode shutter priority, with a high shutter speed. Let's say 1/1000th of a second. So when you consider the high shutter speed, the lack of a good luminosity outside, the aperture will try to open to its maximum. But for a long lens like this one here, you have the aperture is f5 when you're at 150, and it's f6.3 when you're at 500, fully extended. So the result is that at an ISO of 100, you'll end up, lacking a bit of luminosity, light, and you'll be pretty dark. So in this case, I had to set the ISO on auto, with a maximum ISO value set at 1600. And when I took the photo, the resulting aperture with all those variables happened to be f10. So I was pretty closed. The aperture was, f number was high, but the aperture actually was pretty low. So the light coming in was not sufficient, and that shows up on the photo here. One option would have been to crank up the ISO, but at the detriment of resolution. The photo could have become grainy, with coarse grain, and it wouldn't have done what I wanted. I could have adjusted the exposure compensation before the photo was taken, but it's okay because this is a digital adjustment, and the sensor has recorded what we need to recover in this photo. So yeah, better if I do it before, but I can do it after. Now, there are important camera settings to allow you to recover some lost detail in a dark photo. The D7000 camera has 16 million pixels, so it records a lot of data even when you shoot in JPEG mode and not in RAW mode. Well, we can discuss that in further videos, but I normally record in JPEG mode for different reasons. So the key is to set the camera for large photo and fine quality. Some people will tell you, well, unless you want to print a very large poster, you know, that you hang on the wall, you don't need these settings and could go to small size and basic quality settings, and your file size would be smaller, easier to handle and whatnot. Well, if you reduce the size too small, you go from 16 million pixels to 4 million. So you lose 75%, 3/4 of the pixels of your photo. So in doing so, you lose a lot of information, and most important, when you crop the photo, like we're going to do here, then you start from 4 million pixel instead of 16 million. And the resulting photo will lose a lot of resolution and crispness. So in here, the demo will be done with my NX2 Nikon photo editing software. By the way, I would not recommend this software simply because Nikon does not support it anymore. It's a shame because I like it, it's very good. But just Google it for under photo editing software, and you will see a lot of free ones out there, and probably are as good or better than this one. So okay, let's get started with the Nikon NX2 editing software, or whatever you choose, and you will see how simple it is to create a bit of magic. All right, let's get started. Let's open up View NX2 photo editing software from Nikon. You will see here on the left-hand side the folder section, which is basically a mirror of what you have in Windows Explorer. You have some of the menu functions at the top, which we're not going to go through today. And you have the adjustment menu, or adjustment functions, on the right-hand side here. So these functions, there are two main categories. One relates to the white balance. Now, with JPEG, this photo here was taken in JPEG mode, so I'm not going to be able to adjust the white balance. If it was shot in RAW mode, then I'd have the ability to adjust the white balance. For interior photography, where you have either incandescent lighting or fluorescent, or a mix with natural daylight coming in from the window, it makes it pretty difficult to have the white balance spot on, unless you do some of the adjustment with the white card and the color temperature and whatnot. But if you shoot in RAW mode, then you can come back and adjust the white balance on your RAW photo. So here it's not a big issue for me. It's taken outside, so it's pretty straightforward. So I don't need to, well, I can't change the white balance. I'm in JPEG, but I don't need to really do it. What I use the most is sharpness adjustment, contrast, brightness, highlight protection, not as much, shadow a lot, delighting a lot, color booster. Well, sometimes if the color is faded a little bit, you want to give it a little boost, but yeah, very little. The crop, always when I take a photo, I will adjust the crop. I will straighten it if needs be against the horizon line, and otherwise I'm not going to use these functions in here. So let's get started with this photo of the surfer, which is lost in the expanse of the ocean. We don't really see the surfer at all. We don't see much of the detail. It's dark and it's not a good photo. So I'm not after metadata. This is the adjustment panel here. All right, so I normally start, as I said, with the crop. Very important. I want to, in this case, focus on the surfer. I want to see the shadow below the surfer, and probably a little bit of shadow on the left-hand side. And I have the rule of third, you know, trying to get in the top right corner the most of the surfer. So we'll apply this setting. Now we're a little bit better, but we're not there yet. So let's work with the shadow. It was pretty overcast, and it was morning, and the sun was at the back of the surfer, so it's a bit of a silhouette. So if we go with this shadow protection adjustment, now it's starting to recognize the surfer. Give it a bit of brightness. Now we see the color of the water, the green and the blue. The delighting is good for the areas that are still shadowy, but that you want to see a bit more detail. So if you look at the surfer here, and as we crank up this adjustment, we'll see that the detail is coming up, which we didn't have before. Sorry. Adjusting the contrast a little bit. Maybe that's too much. Coming back. That's better. Maybe a delighting a little bit more. Give it a bit more detail. And the sharpness. Well, I do surf photography, so when you want to see the water frozen, the nice carve there with a splash of water, you just crank up this sharpness, and you're going to see that the water has just got, you know, much better. Maybe that's a little bit too much, but it has got a better frozen motion. So that's pretty much how I would like this photo to end, except maybe for a touch of color booster, not much, but just to give it more depth in the color there. So we started with a pretty lousy photo, and here is a very acceptable photo. Again, photo editing was the magic in here. All right, guys, so if you like this video, please let me know through the comments section, and I'll be more than happy to post a few more videos on my channel for your benefit. I'm not doing that to get very big crowds. I know photography is only you know, a field of interest for only so many people, but it's a hobby. It's a pleasure just to share things with you. So we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys. Bye bye.